So you don't charm the devil with your rock and roll load. Knows that country music's gonna save your soul. The devil runs his groove in them rhythm and blues. That sound it's gonna get you sun in the air.
Hey, welcome back to the Speakeasy. This is a special edition coming to you from Bar Comment Brooklyn, in Brooklyn, New York. This is day 2, and we're having a really great time. I can't believe how amazing Industry City is. And I keep talking about this lately on the show. It's just like the community in our industry. You know, we outgrew the original BCB space, up in Greenpoint, Williamsburg. And so, there's no other place that could contain all this talent and love like Industry City, right?
Absolutely, man. And yeah, it's been fun to kind of watch Industry City grow into this too, because it was when I think BCB started, these were mostly just warehouses, and now we've got
you're welcome, Industry City.
You're welcome, basically. Industry City. Yeah. Also, I want to do a quick shout out to Serena over there, who's keeping that one fern out of the way of the camera. Thank you very much, Serena, for setting this up, but also for being on Fern Patrol. We appreciate it. We don't want this to be. It's only between one fern, and frankly, we didn't want to, set ourselves up for failure like that.
Yeah, exactly. So here we are. We're behind the bar with Lalo, Lalo Tequila.
Yeah, hey. Lalo Tequila. It fits,
The guy.
It's an easy name to pronounce, right? So even if you have 5 Lalos, you can still pronounce Lalo. Probably slower, but you'll be able to call it to the bartender.
Okay, well, I have a nerdy question, because a few years back on a TV show called Better Call Saul, there was a very villainous character named Lalo. Did that help or hurt the brand? What do you think?
I mean, I quite honestly, when we started Lalo, people, they were asking oh, Lalo, like Lalo Salamanca. And I'm like, there you go.
Oh,
yeah, there you go. It's not the same, but but no, it definitely helps. Lalo in Mexico is such a common name. It's a short name for Eduardo or Edward. So there's a lot of Eduardos in Mexico. There's a lot of Lalos in Mexico, and obviously in the U.S. So when people is I see that a brand with my name on it, it's the only thing I'm gonna drink.
Yeah.
So that also works,
So you're dedicated to it
Exactly.
already. Well, speaking of that, you have a lot of, since you started around 5 years ago, you have a lot of really impressive growth with the brand. And I feel like some of that might have to do with when people find their brand, they stick with it. There's dedication to that. There's loyalty, and and people end up being essentially your ambassadors of sorts, right? So talk to us about how that what happened or what didn't happen to get here.
I know, it's obviously a multifactorial thing that happened with Lalo. I think that people, they were just looking for an authentic brand, a brand with a story to tell, an authentic brand that was just different from the other brands in the market. It's a very crowded industry, the tequila industry and the spirits industry in general. So people, that were just looking for something different, and I think that we were offering that. We were offering a different vision of Mexico, a different vision of how we grew up in. Shit.
Oh,
Okay.
is that? Oh, whoops. Well, you know what? We can fix that in post.
Let's keep going.
Keep going with this bad boy. Hang on. Let's kind of adjust that.
That's what happens when you do this at a bar.
I know.
Everybody okay? Anybody hurt? All right.
Pick it up in 3, 2, 1.
So, where was I?
So you were in Mexico.
Organic growth. Okay, so organic growth. So basically, what ends up happening is that people, they, first of all, I think that when people, they fall in love with a brand, the brand needs to be available for them, and that's what when many brands, they just don't follow up on that. They have probably beautiful stories, beautiful juice, whatever, but they're not available in the market. So then they're okay, I'm gonna look for something else. So I think that one of the keys of success in Lalo is that our distribution is really well.
You're in all 50 states.
We're all in 50 states. We just turned 5 years. So last year we were national. We became national as a brand, and also, the story behind Lalo is very appealing, and the bottle, the packaging, everything that the bundles up the brand, it's very appealing for the consumer. Not only the consumer, but the industry people.
Well, speaking of the consumer, so I noticed that you have only Blanco tequila. You've got you've got your Blanco, and then you have an overproof. This is 108.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was the idea with that? I mean, like, because I know that, like, kind of talked about this a little bit before, going air, but like I feel like a lot of people to get introduced into, well, like you said, like your devout fans of your tequila, a lot of them came from like the whiskey world or any kind of aged spirit, which was like a reposado or a añejo. But then when people really get into it, I feel like they start realizing that the Blanco is the way to go. You get right to literally the heart of it, and so was that kind of part of the business model?
It was kind of like just going back to the roots and the heart and the core of this industry, which is the Blanco, and we wanted to honor the agave and pay a homage to this beautiful plant without like masking this flavor with barrel influence.
Sure.
We started very focused. We were very focused on just the Blanco and being pure, clean, and I will never say never. Obviously, like we don't know if we're gonna do like a reposado añejo in the future, but we've been 5 years now in the market as a Blanco only tequila. We proved the concept that we can be successful with just one single SKU in tequila.
That's kind of an old new idea.
Yep.
With a recent spike in popularity of Cristalino, I've had quite a few Cristalino, but the thing is,
Today?
well, no, not today, not yet, anyway. But I tend to prefer a pure Blanco, like, and don't get me wrong. I mean, I think it's a cool idea for the tequila world, but it's also like, remember Crystal Pepsi in like the 90s?
Exactly.
It's like,
I don't, but okay, sure.
well, you're too young for that. But it's like, okay. Especially coming from the world of graphic design, for me, it's like I do eat and drink with my eyes, So it's like, grape soda does not taste like grapes; it tastes like purple, So
It's
blue curacao is it tastes blue, What I mean?
Exactly, yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned that you drink not only with your taste buds or your mouth, but also with your eyes.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a nonsense that if you're catching up like barrel influence on a liquid that it's crystal clear, then you're like, what's happening
What's
here?
not broken,
I think that like, yeah, it's a good opportunity for the tequila industry to have an extra SKU, but does it need it? Like, I don't think the industry needs more SKUs. I think that the industry needs more, focus on just making things right.
The word is focus. You're
Yeah,
right. You're
exactly.
absolutely right. Because like there's so much there, working with distributors and with salespeople, it's like they get overwhelmed with a big book, and
Big
it's like, it's
portfolio.
nice to have the thing, to mention a whiskey brand, Maker's Mark, forever they just had the one thing. It was Maker's Mark. Nowadays, of course, they have, their barrel selects and, all the other stuff they got. But for the longest time, I think that's what really got. And speaking of devout, like dedicated fans, they just had the one thing, and it was boom, got it. That's mine. So I really dig the fact that you have this. I'm not saying you shouldn't do a reposado or añejo in the future, but I really dig the fact that you have these two. Let's actually try some.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've been tasting with my eyes for the last 10 minutes. I'm ready to taste with my face. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's just grab. I mean, we have tasting cups here.
Oh, I think there's some poured already.
Well, I want to show the bottle.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. And also a shout out to
Marketing,
our woman
always.
behind the camera, Serena, who set all this up and is actively, as we're doing this, keeping a branch of a fern from coming into the view of the camera. So really just, it's the people behind the scenes that make these things really work.
That's right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So do you like? Okay, I gotta ask this question too. I always ask producers, do you like cocktails?
I
Do you
love
like
cocktails.
do you like to use your product in cocktails?
I love cocktails.
Or do you think that it's like, okay, cool.
No, I
mean-
think that listen, the mixology world complements the spirits world
It
just the
moves-
same way
moves
the
it,
spirits world complements the mixology world.
Yeah.
It's like food. Like you can make amazing recipes in a kitchen. You can make amazing cocktails in a bar, and you need the best ingredients.
Absolutely.
Obviously, we try to make the best ingredient for your recipe and for your cocktail.
I had an article in the New York Times about 15 years, maybe longer ago, where I was doing all these vinegar cocktails. So that month, I received about 500 bottles of vinegar from importers and distributors. Guess what? They're great. They taste great on their own, but they're better when you mix them
Exactly.
into a food
Exactly.
or a cocktail.
But I think
Well, I mean-
that, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
But I think that speaking to your point of like cocktails, I think that by design we made a tequila that is very versatile.
Yeah.
That you can sip on it, you can drink it on the rocks, you can make great cocktails with it. The best way to enjoy tequila is the way you like to enjoy tequila. Like I'm not gonna tell you how to enjoy it. Just do your thing. You know.
I just enjoy it hanging out with you guys. So
Cheers.
Cheers. Salud.
And there we go. That's
Yeah.
so good.
Bright, clean.
Yeah, bright, grassy.
Grassy, mineral,
Yeah.
peppery finish, tropical citrus notes.
I was gonna say, yeah,
Very
kind of a
well
citrus
balanced.
peel sort of a thing on there. That's good.
It's very well balanced, and that's. I mean, first of all, like I'm making Lalo just the same way my family used to make tequila in the past, like the same process, and the thing that I changed is the yeast that we use. So we're using a yeast that is usually used to produce champagne. That gives us like
Interesting.
It
What's the
allows us-
thought process on that?
it allows us, after doing some tests with different type of yeasts, that one was the favorite one for us to achieve this balance, very well balanced flavor profile, which I was like, that's what I want. That's the design that I was on my thought process on how I want the tequila to taste, because I think that we're gonna be more appealing to a bigger spectrum or a bigger audience in the
Yeah.
market.
It's soft and approachable, but it's not flavorless.
Yeah,
It's got tons of flavor,
yeah,
but
exactly.
it's very pleasant on the palate.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, and the other fun thing about champagne yeast is that it's one of like the hardiest yeasts on the planet. It
It
can
is.
ferment up to what, like 18.2%, something like that.
It is hard to work with that yeast specifically because that yeast is not used to work with agave sugars. So temperature is very important. The Brix level on the tanks is also very important, so that you can keep like a stable fermentation process, and at the end you have nice aromas and flavors to choose from on the distillation process. So that's basically the idea behind it.
This sounds like one of those ideas where when you have it, you're like, oh my God, this is going to be so innovative and cool. And then when you have to actually do it, there's like, fuck, this is
Well,
hard.
yeah.
What have I done? Yeah, exactly.
It was not as hard, but the thing is that like at the end, the yield it's like less. So we like the ethanol production is less than using like another type of yeast that is more efficient. So at the end, it's just like a decision that you need to make as part of your production process. Do you want it to be more efficient, or do you want it to taste the way you want it to taste? So yeah, decisions that you have to make. But at the end, you need, the flavor profile is
Yeah.
there.
That's like you said. At the end of the day, it's about what's in here, right?
Exactly.
And that's by any means necessary. Just do the best thing you can do,
Yeah.
right? And so
Yeah.
you have, and this is great, man.
Thank
I'm a big fan, and like I said, I've been seeing it everywhere. So great organic growth,
Yeah.
natural growth, and your fans. I'm the newest fan of
Thank
the
you.
tequila.
Same.
Kind of going back to just quickly about the cocktail thing. You have your overproof, which is to me, that's really designed for cocktails, right? You know, so that's really cool. It's 108, which isn't like, it's not going to kill you, but it's got a lot more flavor. You know, it's punchy. Yeah.
It's not going to kill you. It's going to make you stronger.
Right. Exactly.
It's Lalo on steroids, basically.
Yeah. That's
So
right.
yeah, I mean the idea behind the high proof is that we wanted to have a limited release every year, you know, to bring some excitement to the consumer and
Sure.
also to our team. So the idea behind the high proof was let's do it limited every year. Every September we're gonna launch a new version.
Oh,
So
cool.
the 108, which is here, the 108 version, it's this one. It's
Came out of nowhere.
yeah, it's here.
It's kind of the Martha Stewart, like, here's one I prepared earlier sort of a thing. It's just like,
So this is the 108 version. Is a 2024 edition. It's
By the way,
completely
if you're out there, the gold band on the bottom indicates the 108.
exactly.
yes.
So it's basically like the same process without like water it down. But it's completely sold out. We don't have like any more yet from
Oh, wow.
from this version. But we're working.
So
on
you're going to have to sit there and watch us drink it. Yep.
It's still there's some in the market, but like you have to look for it.
Oh, salud.
Cheers.
No, that's always fun to go like hunting for things that are kind of technically, they're not making it anymore, but you can find certain dusty bottles somewhere where you can get it.
But it's
Yeah,
you
it's
can't
great.
even feel that it's 108.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking too. It's
Right?
like, this to me, like when I think about cocktails with tequila, with an overproof tequila specifically, like this,
Yep.
I think about a beer and then this without anything else.
Well, that's a great pairing, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, works really well.
And I like this because I get more of those kind of like funky champagne esters off of it.
Yeah, exactly. It brings out a lot of the,
Floral notes.
there's really esoteric, you know, kind of like, I feel like it's like basically more terroir, you know, like it's there's like more of the original, you know, like the heart.
It's the geeky shit that we like.
Geeky shit that we like. Yeah.
So I
It's
want
the
to.
geeky shit that I love.
Well, you brought up your family earlier, and you seem like a humble guy. You're probably not going to use the word legacy, but I am going to use the word legacy. You're part of a big legacy in the world of tequila. Tell us a little bit about that and sort of what it was like, because this is quite metaphorically and literally not your grandfather's tequila. So talk about what it was like to branch away from that.
Yeah, well, I literally grew up on this. My grandfather grew up on the same world. You know, he started working as a janitor at a tequila distillery when he was 7 in Atotonilco, in a small town near Guadalajara where I grew up. And obviously, you know, he grew up on a very poor family, so he had to work and help his family with some money. So he started working there. Then 10 years later, when he turned 17, he was able to buy his first distillery with a loan and started making some product. I don't know what you guys were doing at 17, but I was definitely not running.
I was
tequila
drinking
distillery.
tequila, but
Yeah, I was dreaming about it.
But anyway, that was back in 1942. 45 years later, we were celebrating my grandfather 45 years as a tequilero, as a tequila producer. We're throwing a big dinner in Guadalajara, and my dad was the vice president of the company at that time, and he was always thinking ahead and in innovation and how we can do better and how we can make things better for the tequila industry. So after he moved, actually in 1983, to Bardstown, Kentucky, with my mom and my sister, because he wanted to learn more about the bourbon and the distilling techniques and aging techniques, because he already had the idea of creating something special in tequila back in 1983. Then years later, 1987, on this party and this dinner that we were throwing for my grandfather, my dad was like, this is a perfect moment to create something special for him and to put my ideas that I have on canvas into reality, which is a premium tequila with the name of my father on the label, which that tequila was Tequila Don Julio. So my grandfather was Don Julio González, and my father, Eduardo Lalo González, created the brand Don Julio back in 1987. Huge success, obviously, at this dinner. People, they were asking him like, "Hey, where can I get this? This is really good." So my dad was like, "I want to launch this as an official brand." So 2 years, he comes back to my grandfather and he's like, "Hey, I want to launch this as a premium brand." And my grandfather was like, "You're crazy. There's no such thing as premium tequila." Back in the 80s, early 90s, tequila,
Right, it was right before it
yeah,
happened. Yeah.
tequila had a terrible reputation, cheap spirit. Worst experiences were with tequila. Worst hangovers were with tequila. Passed out experiences were with tequila. So my dad was like, "No, I think that we can turn this into a very special spirit, and elevate the experience with Don Julio." So he convinced my grandfather. He ended up launching Don Julio 2 years later in 1989, the same year I was born. So I've been living and experiencing the world of not only tequila, but premium tequila since I was born. Obviously, Don Julio turned out to be a huge brand. We ended up selling the brand in 2003. But then in 2014, I started developing Lalo with my childhood friend David from Guadalajara with this very special approach of being very focused, clean, no manipulation or no messing with the agave flavor profile, just keeping it very simple. And I mean, the rest is history. Like we were, lucky enough so that like Lalo is one of the, best-selling tequila blancos in the country now. So after 5 years.
That's some cool backstory right there. We were, I don't think you were on the show yet, but many years ago, we were talking with W, and they were like, yeah, the 1942 bottle, we made it in a different shape because we're afraid it was going to fail.
Taller, right?
Yeah.
Easier to spot. It's the Galliano effect,
They didn't want it to look like the rest of the line because they were like, and it's super successful, right?
Speaking to the design of the bottle, I think it's really interesting. I mean, you guys can see the bottles here, but
We have a few examples back here. Yeah.
Yeah,
Only a couple, yeah.
on a couple. But when I was with David, my business partner, when we were developing the design and the bottle, we put some thought process on it, because like when we launched it, all the tequila brands, they were like, "Oh, I want the tallest bottle and the tallest and the tallest," because I want to see it on a nightclub, at the bar, so that people can see it. And we were like, "No, we're gonna do completely the opposite. We're gonna launch it as a short bottle, mainly for two reasons. One is because when Don Julio was launched at this dinner party, my grandfather wanted to keep the bottle in the middle of the dinner tables without interrupting the eye contact of the guests. So that's one reason. And the second reason why is my dad once told me, he passed away when I was developing the brand Lalo, but he once told me, "Lalo, if you ever launch a tequila, you want to have a short bottle, because usually short bottles go in front of a back bar because they're easier for the bartenders to grab them. So you always want to be on the front." So that's why, like, the design of the short bottle, the blue and the gold on the neck are the colors of the Jalisco flag, our state. The church here is the Church of Atotonilco, hometown of my grandfather. And you guys have been in Mexico?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So small towns or big cities in Mexico grow around the church. So the main building is a church. In the main square of town, people gather there, people party there, people even drink there.
In Mexico, it's churches. In the United States, it was bars.
Yeah, exactly. But like, we turn main squares in Mexico into bars. So we drink in the main square in front of the church. And so we wanted to represent Lalo and Mexico as a community. And then Lalo is the nickname for Eduardo or Edward. It's not because of me. I'm doing this because of my dad. I want his name on the bottle just the same way he did with his dad, with Don Julio. So.
That's beautiful, man. Well, hey, thank you so much for chatting with
you.
us and for sharing this with us. This is delicious stuff.
Thanks for taking the time out. Seriously,
Thank you,
we're
guys.
very busy. Everyone here is very busy at BCB, which is, I think a lot of the busyness is just the fanfare and love for that's really exuding out of this place. So I really thank you so much for being
thank you
here.
guys. Thank you.
Salute.
Cheers.
I mean, we've got a little bit of left, right?
Cheers.
Salute.
Cheers.
Well, that's it for the Speakeasy special edition from BCB with Lalo. Check out Lalo. It's Lalo.
Widely
Tequila.
available, in the U.S. We're in every single state.
What's
So
the website that they can find you
it's
at?
LaloSpirits.com.
Lalo Spirits.
Lalo Tequila on Instagram. And yeah, we're really excited for what's coming for Lalo, and just keep keep the woodwork on talking about like
Yeah.
like bars and industry. I think at the end, bars it's an industry is an industry of people. So I appreciate what you guys do, because I always ask, like, what do you think about celebrity tequilas? And I'm like, well,
Depends on the celebrity.
for us, the celebrities are the ones that are behind the bar, because
Right.
you guys are the ones that build brands and are the ones that are talking about brands. And I just can't thank you enough, guys.
We
for
don't
the
get paid by
opportunity.
you, but
Yeah.
we do get to have shots of
Yeah.
tequila with you.
With a tequila that is almost sold out. But like I quite
Right.
honestly, like, thank you guys, because that means a lot for brands like us.
Look, man, we've been doing this. I've been doing it for 15 years. We're over 600 episodes now. We don't do it for the money. We don't bring people on the show that we don't want to. It's the golden rule, you know.
Yeah.
If you don't have something nice to say, don't say it. We only have people on the show that we really
Thank you.
respect and care about.
Thank
so thank you for being on this,
I
this special
appreciate that.
edition.
Thank you so much.
And everyone, check out Lalo Tequila. We'll have you back on the show sometime.
Absolutely.
Because I think
Happy to do it.
we just kind of scratched the surface a little bit here, and I know you're busy here at BCB, and so I'll let you get back to it. Very nice to see you.
Thank you.
And your whole team is rad, and yeah, check out Lalo Tequila. We've been checking it out for the last 30 or so minutes, and I can attest to the fun
It's
that we're
curative
having.
powers. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, hey, until next time,
Absolutely.
cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Salute.
So you don't charm the devil with your rock and roll, Lord. Knows that country music's gonna save your soul. The devil